Never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. Never stop Never stop Never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. Never stop Never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming.
Yo, yo, yo. Okay, so I can hear the stuff on my desk. what's up, buddy? Yo, buddy. Yo, buddy.
Tried running this party like 4 times after you invited me. Fucking, it said it joined, and then I talked, and I didn't see my little thing pop up in the corner where it showed I was talking, so I unplugged and replugged my mic, and it still didn't work. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I seen you joining us. Like, oh, what is he doing?
I don't know what it was doing. Being cray cray.
Cray cray.
Cray.
What you got going on?
Oh, you know, just chillin'.
Chillin' like a motherfucking villain, never illin' and always willin'.
Know it.
Oh, so I guess they found out today.
Hey, who?
Becky's lawyer and shit.
Okay.
So they're gonna put a thing in, as my lawyer said is expected. She said, "Don't be worried about it." I told you it's gonna happen. Just now we have to wait for the judge to go back on it, which again has the good possibility of pissing him off.
Is that what your lawyer said?
No, but I mean, again, the whole time that we were doing stuff, she's like, you know, key is that, you know, he's the one in charge. Don't piss him off. Like, if we need to stop talking about something, we're going to stop talking about stuff, you know, just the basics. And,
Right.
you know, again, what she's going to ask for is going to be considered unreasonable, especially considering, you know, how reasonable it already is. And so, I mean, she told me not to worry, so I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to trust. Like,
Put it in God's hands, pretty much.
yep. He's done me right this far. Like, he's been there at the exact time that I needed him every single time. Only thing I got to do is I got to, you know, wait for his works to be done, and fucking, like, all this is just about over. It's right at the stage of being over. So, you know, what's it gonna hurt for a couple more days of, you know, her trying to fight something that may in essence give me more than I even wanted. I mean, my expectation, you know, I'm not going to set my expectations high. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set my expectations exactly where they need to be. and that's he knows what's up. That's why he was so willing to sign our piece of paper so quickly. It wasn't because they hadn't turned one in yet and he was tired of waiting for it or anything like that. So what I believe is going to happen is that he's going to be just about it and look at her demands and then determine whether or not that it's
Change it.
yeah, whether or not it's worth it to the child to change it. And I mean, she's going to have good reason. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the big thing about it, is that like for him to change this, it would have to be, you know, an optimal reason to change it. The fact that he gave me what he gave me meant that he thought I was suitable for doing that. And her counterclaim, and you know this as well as I do, her counterclaim is to keep Callista through the week and me only have her on weekends, because we already went over this. This is what she wanted in court.
Right.
And based on his acceptance of ours, he thought that I wanted a pretty fair thing. And that he felt that the schooling, you know, shouldn't be based on somebody's wants and needs to not be late to work. Well, you say that you're late to work. Are you always late to work, or sometimes? And you know, she didn't answer that question properly. She's not always late to work. If she runs late, it's not due to the amount of time it takes to go to school and back, or back to her work. It's when she
So
leaves
didn't
the
give herself
house.
the time.
Yeah, it's
Right.
when she leaves the house and when she does what she's supposed to do as an adult that causes her to be late. Because otherwise she would be late every day and there would be no stopping it. And then she would have a good counterclaim to it. You know, like, this makes me late every day for work, so if I continue doing this, I am going to be unable to work, which will affect my ability to take care of this child, you know. And then that's something to look at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for her to want her specifically, the reason why she wants her for the week and for me the weekends is that way she can go to the school that Becky wants her to go to. Because it's more convenient for her. It's out of convenience. It's not out of what's best for the child. So however she even tries to word it, it's not good for her.
Right.
And then, of course, you know, we run across a couple other things like the ability for her to take care of the child and stuff like that. And that's another thing she's going to try to get out of is, you know, I don't think that this should happen because I'm trying to think of the example. The fact that she wants it to be a certain way, not because, again, it's for the better of the child. It is straight for her. And it's like everything that she has for counter argument is, well, it's just better for me if it's this way.
It's all about convenience for her.
Yeah, and if that's all she comes back with again, dude, like, she may piss the judge off, and he may be like, well, how about this? Since it's such an inconvenience for you, then we'll just do it this way. And he may give me a bunch of fucking shit that I didn't ask for. Matter of fact, he might give me the stuff that she asked for and be like, well, now he gets to deal with that since it's not an inconvenience for him. And now your child also gets to go to the better school, and she gets to do this, and she gets to do this, and she gets to do this.
Well, either way, I wouldn't get my hopes up on all that. But
Oh, no. Like, that's the optimal. If he is the way my lawyer says that he is because of how she has seen what he did during court and everything like that. Um, and then the other side of that is he just flat out refuses and says, "No, I made a ruling and your stuff's
This is what
unreasonable.
it is.
Yeah, your stuff's
Yeah.
unreasonable, so I'm not even going to entertain it." And that's more likely going to be the case. That's my expectation of what the case will be. Like,
Because
so,
it'll just stay the same, and he'll be like, "Look, I made a ruling. This is what's best for the kid.
yeah,
I'm sorry. It has nothing to do with the fact that you didn't get your paperwork in. It has everything to do with the fact that this is what's best for the child."
yeah, I know for sure that the child will do better in the school that is X ranks higher. So I'm going to just continue with that. Like I feel like that's what's best for her, and I feel like you should know that's what's best for her. She definitely enjoys school. She's a straight A student where she's at. Why would I change that? Why would I mess up everything she's doing out of convenience for you? So, like I said, I mean, no extreme fields of view as far as I'm concerned. Um, but there is a chance that she makes him mad by asking for things that are completely and utterly like, uh, I mean, just completely opposite of what we're doing as is. Because, I mean, obviously what we've been doing as is, minus the fact that she dragged my ass to court and said that I assaulted her and kicked down my front door, which never happened, and she admitted to. Minus that
Did
little,
any of that get brought up in court? I meant to ask you.
no, and it's the only thing that I would have liked to bring into it. But like I said, I mean, look at what was accomplished.
That didn't get brought up by her team either.
No. So look what was accomplished without that. And that tells me that, as far as I'm concerned, God didn't think that it needed to be introduced because he already had my back for it, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
like, why stroke a dead cat, you know?
Right.
But,
Let me not bring up my client's perjury.
yeah. And the fact that we didn't need it and he agreed to what we were wanting immediately shows that, I guess if we have to use it, and be like, look, you say you want to change stuff because, she's complaining about her convenience and stuff like that. Well, where was my client's convenience when she committed perjury on the stand?
And got his kid taken away.
And got his kid taken away. Yeah, for a month. Like, that wasn't convenient for him, but yet, we had to deal with it. So, like, I know you didn't know that previously, but here's some more knowledge for you. Because again, that's another thing that can be added to this equation is that, like, the judge still didn't rule on absolutely everything he could have based on the evidence that's there. And this could get turned topsy-turvy. The only thing she's doing is delaying the amount of time before she can actually, get married again or whatever. Because it's 90 days from whenever this thing gets done, and it doesn't hurt me. Like, none of this hurts me, because I don't think he's going to rule in her favor on any of it. Like, I think, like I said, I think what he's going to do is he's going to look at her proposal and he's going to be like, you're asking too much considering he did everything that you wanted and he's only asking for everything to be the same, but yet you want to push it to a point of you want more. Like, and you have shown no evidence of why I should give you more.
Right.
Like, so that's where I'm at. I'm, you
She's
know,
she's been coming from this as a basis of, well, I'm the woman, I deserve it.
yeah, and
Just because I'm the woman. Just because I'm
yeah,
the mom.
like, and I have another kid to think about. Well, yeah, you do have another kid to think about, and I hope you think about her in the same regard as you think about, your other daughter that's with me, because you're going to have to take care of both of them, and because you've made the choices in your life you've made, well, yeah, you're reaping what you sow. Like, and it's going to cause, irritations in your life because you chose for this to be this way. I mean, you wanted the divorce from your ex-husband. You wanted your divorce from this husband. So, am I to believe that, they're always the problem and nobody else is the problem? Or am I to believe that, there's a good possibility that you are the problem? And again, like, any of that can be ascertained from just based on what she asks for and everything like that. And then if my lawyer goes in and says, well, no, we're not going to accept that because, like I said, let's just say the perjury and the fact that she took my kid away from me through a lie, uh, and committed perjury in court. Like, he's gonna be like, wait, she committed perjury in court? Like, y'all didn't bring this up, which is very notable and honorable of you, because most people would use that to their advantage. So maybe I do need to rethink this, and I'll rethink it in a completely different way than what she's thinking. So, like I said, I mean, there could be several things that turn this completely upside down, or just put it exactly where it was when I woke up this morning. And I think that's the most reasonable outcome, is for it to
Right.
turn.
Just stay the same.
Yep,
Stay what he ruled today.
yep.
Just stay that way.
Well, and he ruled it last week, actually. And that's the thing she doesn't understand, because it took her longer to get her papers in. You know, he already looked at the case. He already seen what the case was about. For him to make the ruling that he did, it's not like it was an ill-informed decision. He just, I mean, again, he didn't even consider their proposal because mine looked good. It's like, this seems like it's got the child's best interests in mind, so why not? This looks good. So,
So when the lawyer puts their objection in or whatever to the judge, like,
all
the
it
lawyer does that.
yeah, all it does right off the bat is it stops the process where it is, and it's like, okay, so we're going to remove this order for right now. We got to give the judge a couple of days to look at what they want, and then he'll make his new ruling. So, I mean, again, all she did was delay the process, and
Right.
I knew she was going to do it. I told you that this morning.
Right.
My lawyer said, don't be surprised. It's probably going to happen. Like, because she lost out big time. I mean, I got everything I wanted, and she got nothing in return. Like, nothing more than she would have got in the first place. So, like I said, not even worried about it. Full faith that, what needs to happen will be done, and this will all be over by Thursday. Matter of fact, the only thing that hurts by her doing this is the fact that, now I got to wait, 2 more days or 3 more days until I can go put Callista in school. Like, so she's actually, unbeknownst to her, because she doesn't care about things like this, she's hurting the child even more because she's greedy and selfish and self-righteous. Like, so she only cares about what she gets out of it. And since she's not getting what she wants out of it, she's mad. Like, and okay, be mad. That's fine. Like,
Think she's mad.
oh yeah, I think she's big mad. I think she's like a 3-year-old that dropped her ice cream on the ground on a hot summer day, and as soon as it hit the ground, it turned into a puddle. Like I said, to be a fly on the wall, I mean, and I was talking to my dad about this too, and it's not that, it's not that I'm trying to be boastful or anything like that. I'm super happy, and the people, and I've only told 3 people, so it's not like I'm gloating on Facebook. Oh yeah, I beat my wife in court. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing shit like that. I told you because,
Oh, and
you.
she would
Oh
be
yeah.
fucking dragging you through the mud right now.
Oh yeah. I
Pushing
finally
you
got
the
that
other
piece
way.
of yeah. I finally got that piece of shit, and now he's gonna have to pay me child support like what should have happened. He's gonna have to pay me more or something like that. And thank God this is over because he is such a piece of shit. And who knows what else? Because did Brittany tell you what happened? Okay, so Brittany went to that party out there at Eric's house, and her and
Yeah,
her.
but that was a while back.
Oh, I know, but uh, Andy Melson, he's always out there at Eric's house. Well, he was kind of flirting with Brittany, and they started talking on the phone and everything like that. And right after that party, where she showed up, he blocked Brittany. Why
After
does?
flirting with her.
Yeah. Why does he do that? Why would?
Becky.
Yeah. Why would anybody stop a potential, free for all on somebody's hoochie for, other than, well, that can't happen right now because, it's very critical that, I mean, I feel like it's a presidential race is is the way I want to describe it, but Becky's political opponent is trying to catch any kind of dirt on her whatsoever, so you can't hang out with her. Like, and that's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb that he gave up on her just because her family told her, "Hey, we can't have her over here, so there's no point in you flirting with her because she's not going to come around here again." Like I said, I mean, her family and the way they do things, dude. It's amazing to me at the lengths that they're willing to go to protect their own, even when they know that they're wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's commendable with family, but
I mean,
at the same
slightly, but you should also be, teaching your family that, hey man, sometimes you gotta fucking own up. Like, especially in something like this. I mean, this isn't life ending. This isn't career ending. This isn't anything ending. This is just a fucking divorce. Like, and you gonna stop somebody else that's not even a part of your family from fucking having fun? Like, come on. Like, but, I mean, that's neither here nor there. Like I said, it is what it is, and I'm happy that it's over. I'm happy at the ruling that was put in place. And I am confident that it will probably stay the same. And that's
I mean, I hope it does.
yeah. I mean, I do believe it was one of the most fair outcomes that could have come out of it. I mean, really, it's not like Becky got screwed.
She was just, dude. She was asking for too much, as it was.
Yeah. And
Like,
I
I
think
mean,
that's the big thing is that the fact that she went
everything was
from
going great the way that it was, and then she wants to turn around and cut your time and your kid, and like, and not even in half. She wanted to make it to where you were getting like, you know,
8 days a month.
yeah.
or sorry, with the 2 half days on Friday, I could consider that 2 more days, so 10 days a month. So I'd be only seeing her a third of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, and
so
that's some petty fucking shit.
oh yeah.
That is the pettiest fucking shit you could do. Is like, okay, everything's going great the way it is, right? So it's not like there's going to be less exchanges of the child if you get, you know, if you get the weekends and only the weekends. There's going to be just as much back and forth. It's just going to be like
No, actually
hurting the kid.
there's going to be more. Because now instead
It's
of
fucking hurting the kid
yeah, and the fact that
at that point.
yeah, and the fact that she doesn't even know that the child says she wants to be over here more often than she wants to be over there. Like, I would never say that to her face, but I let Calista talk to me. And when I mentioned, oh, we got one more day together, we gotta go do something special tomorrow, so you're not gonna be able to hang out with Mariah. And she's like, man, I wish I could stay another week. It's like, well, baby, I wish you could too, but this is the way it is. Just that kind of stuff. It's almost just like sad to be like, man, I wish I could just tell her, yeah, you can stay.
Well, I mean, I hate to put it this way too, and we've speculated this the whole time anyway. Like, she probably gets treated differently than Charlie does.
Yeah, she's probably starting to notice that Charlie gets more things, Charlie gets more attention, Charlie gets this, Charlie gets that,
Right.
and it is a bad feeling. Like, it does suck. But, it's something that I can't avoid. The only thing I can teach her is to rise above that kind of adversity and make it,
Know that that's not the way you treat your children, so she
yeah,
won't do it to hers.
yeah, make it better by not committing those same mistakes later on in life.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's all I want to do anyway. I mean, like I said, everything that I asked for was well within reason, and it was within the reasoning of I want this so that way I can do what's best for the child. Because again, what's best for the child is for her to go to a better school. She is, and again, now I can say it because I've been taken out of the other child's life. She is smarter than Charlie ever was. It had nothing to do with age. It had nothing to do with anything other than she is smarter than Charlie. Matter of fact, I bet you if you were to put her into 3rd grade or 4th grade, she'd probably give it a run for its money, even though she doesn't know anything about multiplication and division.
I mean, what grade is Charlie? She's still in 2nd grade, right?
No, Charlie is 2 years older than Callista. She should be going into 5th grade, but she's going into 4th grade because she failed.
And Callista's going into
2nd grade.
So she's supposed to be 3 grades ahead of Callista?
Yeah, the way it works out. Because since her birthday is later in the year,
I thought they were really close together.
well, I mean, they're 2 years apart, but they're 3 years different in school because of how things,
Birthdays fell.
yeah, because how birthdays fell and how that all turned out.
I thought their birthdays were really close together, though, is what I'm saying.
July and September, but that September is a cutoff.
Right.
Like, so any kid that's born after July 31st, they don't want them to start until the next year because they're considered too young and they feel like they might not grasp, they might not have had enough time to grasp, you know, the kind of stuff that the teachers are going to want to start putting out there.
So it was second grade that Charlie had to do twice.
No, it was third grade that she had to do twice. She just passed third grade as an AB student. She didn't even get all A's, which is amazing to me. Like, I thought for sure she'd get all A's. Because, I mean, again, she's already been through it before. Like,
Right.
she's going to a school that doesn't have as strong as a curriculum. You know, there's lots of things that made me think that, hey, you know, this is going to be positive for her, because I'm not ragging her, but I still, you know, I want to think positive of her. And one of the things that I was thinking positive of is, you know, she can get straight A's this time around, and that may give her the wanderlust. Are you calling me with your butt?
No, I'm calling on my phone. You're
Oh.
gonna ride to the store with me.
Oh, am I? Yeah. Oh, hold on. Let me mute my mic. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, epitome of rebound person. Uh, and she wasn't even supposed to be rebounding yet. So like that kind that kind of thing doesn't ever bode the best. It's just like you said, the circumstances prove that that's not really ever the best way to start anything. And I, like I said, I hate it for him because, oh shit, I actually died. Ew. I hate it for him because, like, he'll be the one who suffers for it. I don't have to worry about it no more. I'm done worrying about it.
Right.
And I mean, again, all I can do is sit back and bide my time and watch, like, and make sure that my daughter's taken care of while she's in their care. Ask my daughter questions about what's going on over there, and make sure that she's doing the right things by not lying and you know, and the stuff that her mother has tried to start teaching her. And once I do that, my part's done. I have no other reason to participate.
You're a lot more calm about that than I would be too. I'm telling you.
Oh, trust me. I mean, let's get some context here. If I knew there was no repercussions, just because, I'd go beat the fuck out of that motherfucker.
Talking about her or him?
Him.
That wasn't what I was talking about.
Oh no, I'm.
Talking about. Yeah, I was talking about you're a lot more calm about the whole like lying shit.
Oh well.
Get my kid to lie to me shit, and I would be.
Well, on this particular part right here, like I said, up until it is done, I really can't do shit. Like, so until the judge comes back and says, "Hey, it is what it is," and I made a decision, and you did not sway me with your craziness.
Objection.
Yeah. So we're gonna leave it the way it is because I feel like that was the choice that was. Not only was that the choice that was made, but it seemed like the most fair out of all choices presented to me. So sorry. Have a nice day. And I mean, even if he changes one or two things about it, it's not like my lawyer can't say, well, if you change this, then we want this changed too. So,
Did your lawyer say that?
well, no, it's just afforded to us. I mean, again, there's there's a couple of things that you can do, and then there's a couple of things that when you damn, sorry, I'm looking at max rolls. Well, that's a max roll on that too. No, I probably won't change that. And things that are afforded to you is that if he comes with that order and gets your hopes up, you're allowed to come back and say, well, hey, if they want this, and you're going to give them that, then well, we want a little something extra too because we were under the impression that this was done and over with.
Right.
And again, it's not like it's super fucking it's not like it's super fucking good. Like there's no positive in this at all. I mean, the positive that we can take from this is merely that if things stay the same, then I get to try to raise my daughter as I see fit as far as it goes with school and all that other stuff. But other than that, I mean, she still loses. And that's what sucks about it. And, that's what, I think that's ultimately what swayed the judge to do what he did, is because he knows that there is no real winner. And so mitigating the loss to a point by, like giving me the educational right, because I'm more passionate about her learning and I'm not willing to take her out of a school just because it's convenient. Why would he go back on that?
Right.
If he goes,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see a scenario of a reason that would make him go back on that.
yeah. And so, like I said, I mean, that's why I said that, you, my dad, and my grandma is the only ones who know right now that I got that piece of paper. And that's because it's my grandma, my dad, and my best friend. And the order that it went in is I told my dad first, I told you second, I told my grandma third. And the reason for that is because of how much influence each of y'all played. Like I said, I called you and thanked you earlier today, for the specific reason of keeping me objectively thinking about stuff. And, you even said, to the fact of, if I would have thought about it a little bit more and, not considered it like me and Braden, and, thought about the other way, I might not have given the same advice, but, you were happy that I went through it and that the decision that came was actually, one that was good. Because, I mean, again, in your mind, you thought the way a lot of people think, and that's, if you fight this, it might cost you X amount of money more, but also, while you're fighting this, what can you possibly lose? And that is something that I had to consider. It's like, what can I lose that's going to make this not worth the $20,000 that I just spent on this shit? Like you said, are you going to gain, I think at the time it was like $5,000. Are you going to gain $5,000 worth of value, or could you use that $5,000 somewhere else to make her life better?
Right. Well, I mean, also the argument that I had too was like, you don't want to lose time.
Yeah. And if there was any way that I was going to lose time, that I might want to just settle out, because we did have a fairly decent agreement.
Which is crazy because, was it brought up that she agreed to partial custody?
Oh yeah, 100%. Everything that's on that piece of paper, minus the right to first refusal, she pretty much agreed upon. Like, it was like, if
was it brought up in court?
No, because she didn't have the text messages. And like I said, I mean, may it be the fault of her not being 100% prepared, or whatever it is. I mean, in the end, it never mattered, because, I mean, look at the decision I made.
Right.
And to me, it was one of those things that, well, God knew I didn't need to make her look worse to win this, because she already made herself look bad enough, and especially in court, she made herself look bad enough by not being able to answer simple questions without targeting herself as the main beneficiary. So, I mean, it doesn't matter, or I say it doesn't matter. It wasn't.
And that's so dumb.
Yeah.
If you're fighting for the betterment of like, you don't get up there and be like, this would be better for me. This would be better for me.
Yeah.
This would be ideal for me. This
Well,
would be the best for me.
well, this hurts me, so I don't think she should get it. You know, like I know that that's better, but it's just not convenient for me. So can we switch that? You know, like that's such a poor argument towards why you should get any more or less with your child.
Yes.
Like, and I think he's seen that, and that's why, like I said, that's why I was given what I was given. It's because I stood up there and everything that I did had to do with making sure that my child was the first thing that mattered and the last thing that mattered. None of it had to do with me. When my lawyer asked me about, you know, like I said, the little stuff, like, are you willing to let her have her grandma's stuff and all that other stuff and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah. I said, you know, the couple of things that I want that, you know, she took, it is minuscule in comparison to what she wants, you know, but like I'm not going to hold her from being able to get her, you know, her stuff that, you know, is from, you know, from her grandparents or anything. Like that's, I don't care about that stuff. Like that's nothing to me. She can have all of that stuff that her grandparents got her. Like, and, you know, she asked about the stuff, or no, she didn't even ask about the stuff during the marriage. That was just what he put in there, which was kind of weird to me because, again, you know, he granted me all the stuff that we gained through the marriage. I didn't expect that. That's something that I was like, okay, you know, so like he sees it that the only way I can say that I think he sees it as is that, you know, okay, I can see that this dude got left holding the bag for, you know, nearly $9,000 and she took $900 with her because that part was brought up. And, well, you know, it seems fair to me. It seems like a fair assessment to me to say that if I don't make her pay any of that money, then he gets to keep all the stuff in the house and he gets to keep the house because, well, I mean, it was his. Yeah, it was his to start with. He spent the money to get the stuff.
Work.
Yeah. So, like, why not just give him, you know, everything except for what she brought into the marriage? And see, that's usually, and that's the thing, is that's usually what the guy gets. That's usually the stuff that the guy gets stuck with is like, well, everything's going to get cut in half and, but you can retain anything you came into the marriage with. And that's all they get. So, I don't know. Like I said, I feel blessed that it came back the way it did. And I do hope the best for her in all respects. But I don't see the judge coming off of how fair that paper was just because she doesn't think it's fair
Or doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a fair rule.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what they're trying to do in general, is they're trying to be fair to everyone.
Right.
And like I said,
The fact that she's just going to come back at it as in like, well, this is not what I wanted.
yeah.
That's really the only argument she has for it.
Yeah. Because she did not get what she wanted. She didn't get the custody that she wanted. She didn't get the right to first refusal that she wanted, which was, well, if it's going to be like 4 or 5 hours and blah, 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 then, you know, you don't get it. But, you know, if it's going to be like a day or something, I could see giving it to you. Like, that's not right to first refusal. That's you pawning her off on me when you know you're going to be gone for a day or so. Like, that ceases to be right to first refusal, and and you pawning your kid off, which is just as bad as anything that we've talked about. You know, about how it's just out of convenience.
Yeah. Only
And
for you and nobody else.
yeah, the other things would be the school. Well, I mean, she already got told by my lawyer, because when my lawyer went over it and asked her all the questions, she was like, okay, so from everything you've said, it just makes it more convenient for her to go to that school. And Becky said yes. Okay. You know, like, since we're talking about you and not the child, and how much better it's for the child to go to a better school, or to keep her friends that she's had for 2 years, or enjoy the teachers that enjoy her for the last 2 years, let's just make it about you, you know, because you wake up late sometimes and you're late to work, and for some reason,
You know,
even
why shouldn't it be all about you?
right, right, because that's what we're here for today, is you, right? Because you're the special one. You're the one who should get all the praise, because you're the one who decided to get out of this relationship. You know. But again, you know, Judge looks at it, and all that has to be said is, you know, she wants the convenience of her child riding a bus to school. For what reason? Because, you know, if you got if you got his child in this room, and asked what they do before school, she literally waits to get Charlie on the bus. Do you know why? Because
What?
her fucktard cousin, who's got ADHD, fucking some, he's mentally not there. I mean, he's got enough to learn stuff, but he doesn't his brain doesn't function the way it should. Let's just say it that way. He picks on her on the bus. So, because of that, Becky waits until the bus gets there so he can't pick on her before they get on the bus. So she waits for the bus to come pick him up, and that's a good reason to, you know, show up late to work. You know, if you're going to like sit there and be like, hey, I'm not going to hold this person accountable. Instead, I'm just going to stand there and make sure that they don't do bad while my kid's standing there. But as soon as they get on the bus, they still do whatever they want to. Like, that's kind of shit-tastic. And, I mean,
And it isn't fixing the problem.
yeah.
It's delaying the inevitable.
Yeah. So,
Like, she's not actually preventing Charlie from being picked on.
yeah.
She's just delaying it from.
And making herself,
Time.
yeah, and making herself late in the process. And making Callista late to school sometimes in the process as well. Which shouldn't happen. But it does, because she can't manage life. And that's the best way to put it. Is she can't manage life. And it sucks for her. It does. I really hate it for her. But I mean, if there was any better way to, you know, put it, I would, but I mean, it is what it is. And maybe that's why things should be, you know, as different as the judge is posing them to be. Is because, you know, she can't manage life. She can't keep people from doing things. She feels like she has to micromanage everything and all that shit just to make everything go right. And if that's what she thinks that she has to do, then I can see why, she's not good at handling life. It's because she's micromanaging too much, and instead of having her daughter grow up with a spine and holding people accountable and going down there and telling her cousins
Kid.
yeah, that he's gonna stop that shit, or he's fitting to
Get his
not be
ass
right.
whooped or, yeah.
Yeah, not riding the bus to school anymore, or anything like that, because he can't stay within the guidelines of what a school expects. And she won't do that, because again, it comes down to that family thing.
Standing up to her family.
Yeah, she will not stand up to her family, because if she stands up to her family, then guess what? They all turn their backs on people who stand up against family. Because that's what her uncles did to Taylor. When Taylor dated a black guy, oh, it was the worst thing ever. Like, her dad, I still don't think fucking talks to her. Just because she dated a black guy. And she didn't even date him for that long. It was like fucking a month, maybe a month and a half. And I don't even think she dated him. I think she was just fucking him for weed. Like, if we're going to be honest about it, because, basically half the story we got was he fucking hung out and they smoked all the time and fucked. Like, that, I mean, I guess if you want to consider that dating, like, cool, but like, really, when it come down to it, she was fucking him for fucking drugs is all she was doing. And far be it from me to say that she shouldn't or can't or anything like that. Like, that's not up to me. I don't care. And I could care less who it was with. But by God, her family, woo! You are barking up the wrong tree if you're going to bring any other color into this family. And it reminds me of, one of the things, and I ain't said this because, I didn't want to, I mean, it was when I started suspecting that things weren't weren't being done properly or whatever, and that, there was no fix to this. Like, everything that she was maybeing about and all this other shit, it wasn't maybe. It was already over. She just wanted to draw it out until she had the upper hand. And I recorded one night in the room. I recorded, and it was a recording of her talking to Taylor, and she was talking to Taylor, and one of the things that I heard was, oh, I could never date a black guy because my family, you know how our family is. So she was already talking about dating before she even left this house. I kept that to myself because, again, I knew it was coming, and yeah, I was slightly jaded, and I would say all the way up until December, when I found out that she was going to plead the fifth on all the adultery style charges. Once that day hit, the divide started. But previous to that day, I will tell you that I was thinking about, what can I do to get her to fucking just come back and stop the bullshit, just like, let's get back to, reality here for a second and fix this. And, it literally took until the day that I found out that, she was definitely being with people. Yeah, she'd been with people. So at that point, like I said, I was done. And there was no way to stop me from being done either, because, again, everybody wants to everybody wants to talk about, well, you never seemed religious and all that other stuff. Well, just because I don't fucking announce it to everybody all the time and push it down people's throats doesn't mean I'm not. It's just I choose who to speak to about and when, instead of just speaking my mind all the time.
Right.
If I know somebody doesn't want to hear about it, I'm gonna leave them to their own vices. I can't I can't talk to somebody who doesn't want to talk about it. And just like I've stopped talking to Brittany about it because, it became blatantly obvious that, she wanted to say that she wanted to do right, and she wanted to live a more godly life, but her actions showed me different. So I couldn't just keep telling her, oh, well, just keep doing what you're doing, even though I know that you're faking it. Just keep doing what you're doing, because, well, then I'm just I don't know if,
Enabling.
yeah, I'm enabling her to not be of faith, and
Validating her fuck ups like she wants.
yeah, and I'm validating her where I shouldn't be validating her. And so again, we had our discussion about it, and I even told her, I was like, you you expect me to listen to your validation because you found out recently that I started talking about church, and then you said, you come up with this, you've been going to church thing, and you felt the spirit and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah, and then you turn around and you get drunk and go driving in your car and get a fucking ticket. I was like, no excuse, none whatsoever. Like, you weren't feeling the spirit or anything like that, because if you felt the spirit, then you'd have no need for that alcohol that you consumed that got you in trouble. That ultimately, and I said it would most likely happen if she kept drinking, and you told her to, is that ultimately you're going to force yourself to lose your kid because you are unwilling to change your ways. And what did it do? She lost her kid because she chose to keep living a life of sin. And like I said, I still 100% believe that she again, no different than this judgment for Becky, she's getting to reap what she sows, because even though she was saying one thing, she was trying to be a false witness. And that's never good in any religion. You got really, 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 really low.
Uh,
Oh, there you go.
she was I was talking to her about this the other day. She's like, I've called my lawyer a couple times the last couple weeks because, you know, Scholar hasn't brought the kid to DHR like he was supposed to for our
Okay, baby.
visits or whatever. And, I don't think the kid's staying with him. I think the kid's staying with Gina instead. I'm like, you're absolutely right. The kid is probably staying with Gina.
And,
And
and
and she was like, and I know Scholar's still drinking and driving. And I'm like, is he drinking and driving with the kid? And she was like, yeah. I was like, well then, if you can prove it, that's one thing. I was like, but listen to me, Brittany. I was like, don't fight this just to give the kid more of the same. I was like, if you're gonna fight it, quit fucking drinking and do better. I was like,
Exactly.
don't
Exactly.
fight for the kid just because you would be the best alcoholic he could get.
Right?
And that's what I told her. I was like, don't be the best alcoholic. Be different. Give him another option if you're gonna fight for him.
Right.
Like, and she fucking didn't understand it. Like she understood it, but she still didn't see her drinking as a problem. She's still drinking.
Yep.
How she's passing these fucking tests, I'll never know. If even if she is passing them, well, she may be failing all of them and just not telling anybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it seems pretty severe to me that they would just all of a sudden, decide that, oh, Skylar's the better parent, so he's going over there.
Right.
So to me, it seems like there was some kind of cause and effect there that we're missing, and that the
Yeah.
only
My
the only
guess is she
way,
probably failed a lot of her fucking things.
yeah,
And to hear her cousin talk about it, like she has failed a lot of
yeah,
them. And that was the reason. And that the only reason that she knew about it is because she talked to Gina. And I was like, well, then how would Gina know? She's like, I don't know how Gina would know. I was like, well, if Gina does know and she did fail a lot, that would explain why she doesn't have her kid anymore, pretty much.
yeah. But it also, and this is a Brittany thing to say about it, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But I mean, I'm sorry that he's driving around drunk with your kid. I'm sorry that your kid got taken away from you because you couldn't stop your alcoholism. But and this is how I told her, I said, if your true ambition is only to get him in trouble, that way you can get your kid back, I said, that is not how religion works. Religion works by you putting in good works and they get returned to you. You devote yourself to being a humble servant and staying righteous and doing the right thing, staying very moral about things and doing the right thing even when nobody's looking, to ensure that blessings are cast upon you. Because otherwise the blessing that gets cast upon you is the blessing that you were giving out, and when you're lying, deceiving, drinking and stuff like that, it's going to come back to you. And I hate to say it, but if he's doing the same thing, it's only a matter of time before he's sitting there in the car again smoking pot or drinking, and a cop pulls up behind him and it's like, what are you doing? I smell reefer. You got a kid in the car. You're going back to jail for child endangerment. It's only a matter of time unless he's changed his ways.
That's the biggest problem. Is neither of them are going to change. Neither
Yeah.
of them
And when they revisit it, both of them are going to be pissed off, because what's going to happen is when they revisit it, it's going to be like, neither one of y'all are worthy. And sorry, Gina, but you have no claim to this kid whatsoever because you're not even of relation. So you're not going to get the kid. The kid's going into foster care because it'd be better for the kid to get away from all of you guys. Not just the mother, not just the father,
will.
all of
That's
you.
what I tried to tell Brittany. That's what, when she started talking about this shit the other day, I was like, look, Brittany, let's just put it this way. Just because you go and tell a scholar, that isn't going to make you worthy of getting your child back. I was like, what's going to happen is like, you could go get him in trouble, you know, and then they say that he's not worthy of having a kid either.
Right.
I was like, they're not just gonna turn around and be like, okay, well, since the dad's fucking up, let's just give him back to his mom. I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. I was like,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is they're gonna put him into the system, and the state will have him. I was like, he'll be in and out of foster care. I was like, once that child goes into foster care, you may never see him again.
Yep.
I was like, that is a really real possibility.
And that's the best version that could come out of it for that child, unfortunately, which sucks.
And
Like,
then that's another thing I told her. And I was like, honestly, Brittany, I was like, and I'm not trying to be an ass here. I was like, seeing as how neither of y'all deserve him right now, and I was like, and don't sit here and tell me you deserve him. I was like, I know you're still drinking and driving. I was like, is that going to change just because you get Grayson back? No. I was like, you know how I know? Because it didn't change when you had him.
yeah, you had the chance to change that, and you still never did. So
Right.
why would I think anything else is going to happen? And that's the same thing I told her, you know, when I took her to that store she wanted to get some sodas and, you know, her medicine and this, that, and the other. And I was like, we're not going there to get beer, right? Like, because I'm not your taxi to go get beer. I said, and I will not be, and I will not contribute to somebody who's going to do something like that, because you're, you know, in essence, making a fool of me if I let you do that. And I said, I'm not going to be made a fool of. And she's like, no, it's just to go get my medicine and blah, blah, blah. Well, she set the bag down in the car, and, you know, I made kind of a sharp turn, and it was kind of on purpose. You know, the bag fell over, and I could clearly see the top of the cans. Well, she scoops it up real quick, and I'm like, you know, before we get back to your house, I'm going to ask you what's in the bag, right? And I'm going to want to see it, right? And she's like, why? I said, because here's the thing. You lied to me. I said, you lied to me about continuing to drink, and then you wound up with a ticket from Priceful for drinking. And I said, I don't condone it at all. I said, as a matter of fact, you know, it's worse because you told me that you weren't going to do it. But since you did do it, like, now I want to make sure that you are being real with me and I can trust you. I said, because if I can't trust you, I can't take you places. I can't help you out when you need it. Like, I just have to be
I
done.
can't even be your friend.
Yeah,
Your real friend.
exactly. That's what I said. I just have to be done, and I have to leave you to your own vices. And she's like, well, that's understandable, but, you know, I didn't buy any alcohol. All I did was go get food and drinks. And I was like, well, and that's
So
fine.
even after telling
Lied to
you
me in my face
was saying
in the
to
car.
you,
Yeah, lied to me to my face in the car after she should have known I seen him just to
well,
just
that's another
to
one of Brittany's problems. Everybody is stupider than Brittany.
yeah. So with that in mind, you know, I didn't talk about it anymore. I just shut up until we got to her street. And then I said, hey, Brittany. It's like, let me see that bag. And she was like, come on, Nick. I was like, so you did. So you bought alcohol while I was in the car. Not only did you buy alcohol, but you didn't even keep it out of the reach of the driver, which means that if we would have got pulled over for any reason whatsoever, those beers were in reach of me, which means that they could pick me up because, who's to say that I wasn't drinking beer?
Right.
Like, so you put me into your problems and in jeopardy of having to fight off a charge that has nothing to do with me. I said, from here on out, I will not take you anywhere. I said, don't expect me to change that. I don't care what it's for, and I don't care if I'm your last resort. I'm not going to do it because I don't know if you're lying to me. Like, Are you really going to this place? Is this really the place that you're getting your piss test done? How am I to know? You lied to me. If you're willing to lie to me, then how would I know? Till I take you wherever you're going. And then it's like, oh yeah, I was lying. I didn't mean to lie to you, but I had to be able to get here because nobody else would take me. No, I'm not that person. I'm sorry. Never been that person. Never tried to be that person, and never put up with people like that. So, bye.
Yeah.
And she learned the hard way that I wasn't lying about it. And like I said, I mean, I haven't taken I've taken her one time to go do her piss test, and that was it. And it's because she called you and the other guy she was talking to. I can't remember, Grant or something like that. It's one of her friends or something.
Garrett.
Maybe Garrett, yeah. But nobody was available. Absolutely nobody was available. And I was like, I'm going to do it this one time. And one of the only reasons I'm doing it is because I don't have Callista right now. And I said I would be lying if I said that I had anything better to do. But I'm going to tell you once again, you have ruined me from wanting to do anything for you. And the only reason I'm doing it right now is because I know you can't go anywhere else but to that place. So I can trust that I'm not going to get lied to again. And this will be the last time I do this. I don't want you to call me for this ever again. I said, I don't even care if you're in dire straits. I said, I just really prefer not to have to do this anymore. Because, plug it into your room, baby, because mine's, yeah, you do. You took it. But I was like, I don't feel inclined to help somebody who's willing to lie to me. Like, that's all there is to it. And she was like, okay, you know. And she hasn't called me since, so, like, at least I can say that about it, is that, you know, she's not trying to misuse or abuse my trust about it or anything like that. She's literally completely, she knows that I'm just not going to do it. and I have fair reason not to do it.
Right.
And
Well, after that one time I took her, I was like, don't ask me to do this again.
because it took fucking hours upon hours upon hours.
It took 3 fucking hours to go get her, get it done, and get her back home. I was like, don't fucking ask me to do this again. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, but it's not my place to get you here and back. I was like, it wasn't me that got in trouble, so I'm not going to be punished for it.
Right. Well, and, you know, like I said, that is something else that I put into it. I said, you know, you're reaping what you sow, so, like, I can't help you all the time. Like, it just doesn't make sense for me to do so because I'm interfering with what needs to go on.
Yeah.
You need to
learn a lesson.
Yeah, you need to understand that the punishment for not doing good is, unfortunately, not having people that are willing to stand right there next to you and be like, no, she doesn't deserve this. Like, and everything that, you know, we basically thought you were, or, you know, that you previously were, because, I mean, she wasn't all bad when we worked at Logan. She wasn't this messed up, but we were also kids and we had more wiggle room.
Well, that's what she was saying the other day. Like, when I was telling her all this shit, talking about how like, and I told her, I'm like, Brittany, you need fucking rehab. I was like, if you can't quit drinking after everything that's happened to you, I was like, you've had a PUI and 3 DUIs. Even if you're not guilty of them, evidence pointed to the fact that that's what happened.
Right.
I was like, you've lost your kid. You don't have a permanent residence. I'm like, Brittany, you're pushing 40.
Yeah.
And then she waited for a second. She was like, yeah, but we used to drink and drive all the time, and you know how you don't. I know you know how many times I left yours or Nick's house drunk. She was like, I was like, Brittany, again, we were fucking kids. I was like, it's time to grow up. I was like, is this how you want to live forever?
Yeah. Because if you want to be Why Not Lowry, I mean, sure, I guess that works. But I mean, most sane people don't want to live like that. Most sane people want to have structure in their life, know that their bills are paid, and eventually own something and be able to sit back and relax. I mean, I know that was a driving force for me to do better in life, was just the fact that I want to own a house, and I want to own my car and not have any bills. I'm 40 years old, and I accomplished that in the last 10 years of my life. Between 31 and 41 is when I accomplished all that. And I didn't do it because some woman wanted me to. I did it because ultimately, like, I'm going to have to fall back to something at some time. And that something at some time is going to be my my residence, where I live, how I do things. That's going to be it. If I don't have that to fall back on, man, I'm going to be like my sister, living with my parent, like all that other stuff, that's just not stuff that I want to deal with. Okay, so I'm moving my dad in with me now, but that's because I do have a place for him to be, to where he can start saving up money and actually do something. Like, I'm actually helping him. I'm not just using what he has to help myself.
Right, which is something that I've never really understood, why he hung out with Candace for so long. Like,
I think
I know it's his daughter and wants the best for her, and he probably even wanted to help her out. Like,
I think what happened though is he kind of got I'm not gonna say suckered into it, because you don't really get suckered into stuff like that. You either do or you don't, kind of deals. I think he got sucked into it strictly because he was like, if I don't do this, then she won't have anything or anywhere to go, and she'll pretty much be screwed. Like, and he didn't want that, so he made a choice, and though it be not a good one, it was still a choice that had to be made, pretty much just to make sure that his offspring didn't lose the battle. But now she's with this dude and all this other stuff, and who knows? She's got a good chance of doing something. Hell, I don't know. I can't even begin to tell you. I don't know what she's even trying to
Is
do.
the dude good for her? Does he got his shit together? Like,
Don't even know, dude. She says he makes he makes at least $100,000 a year or whatever. And I mean, he's got a house. He has a house with an apartment on it, but he lives in Ardmore. And they met, and he basically used her as a warm sheath, and then, you know, got away from her, and then used her as a warm sheath and got away from her, and then now he found out that she got that DUI and that she lost her license and all that other stuff, and she couldn't drive. Well, he bought her a car and paid for her license to be renewed, because, you know, after you get it suspended, you have to pay to get it back, because somehow he managed to run off the road and hit something, and he refused the breathalyzer, and they took him to jail for being drunk. Imagine that. And so he lost his license, so he needed to ride back and forth to work. So
what
is
you're saying is this is a match made in heaven.
yeah. Somebody's gonna lie. Well, and they don't have to lie to each other because their faults stick out like sore thumbs. I mean,
So
So-
here's the thing. I don't know what this guy looks like.
I met him one time. The dude barely even looked at me. Didn't even offer to shake my hand. Didn't even hardly talk to my dad the whole time he was over there, like at all, or offer to shake his hand. And I mean,
Daddy, I want
ramen. We're not doing ramen again tonight. We'll do pizza. We got to have something more healthy than ramen's. Like eating this wall right here. Yeah, ramen's not great for you.
Scratch him, Loki.
He ain't gonna scratch me. Him loves me.
Unless you bring
We'll eat pizza tonight, okay? Maybe ramen for lunch tomorrow? Okay. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's a nothing. I'm